I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Katy Keene After Show.
Yay!
As you can see, we have an amazingly beautiful, talented special guest with us.
Thank you. Cute.
Yay. All right, so let me just break it down for you real quick. We are talking Season 1, Episode 5, Song for a Winter's Night. We have so much going on. Katy is applying to Parsons. Josie has a check for her EP that she needs to cash right away. And Jorge's mom saw Ginger and he was shook. We were all shook. Pepper has some things going on. She's lying. Maybe she's not lying. We don't know. We're going to break it all down for you. I'm your host, Bryant Santos. I'm your resident CW superfan. Tyler Lockwood, please marry me. But to my left, I'm going to go ahead and introduce her first because she's right here next to me.
Hi.
We have the beautiful first ever African-American Pink Power Ranger.
Yay.
You know her as Alexandra Cabot, the queen of chiffon robes.
True. Yes, that.
She is Miss Camille Hyde. Welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys liked the episode. It was fun watching the end with you guys. It's literally one of the cutest, heartfelt little scenes at the end, and like we all got really emotional together.
Yes.
That was a sweet moment.
Yes,
We
it
did that
was.
together. It was really sweet.
We loved it. And breaking it down with us, we have all the way to the left, the amazing Eric.
Yes,
Oh.
Eric.
He is giving us...
Serve them.
I have some
Yes.
pink on just for you.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yes. He's actually the king of crop tops, but not tonight.
I know.
know.
It was a little chilly.
It is.
Yeah.
Just like the apartment.
Yeah. Right.
Vortex.
And right next to Eric, we have the beautiful Sana.
Yes,
She's our resident fashionista, and she covers everything.
Yes,
all of our
fashionista.
comics, our
Thank
fashion.
you.
We love it.
yeah.
All right, let's break it down real quick. Tell me some of your overall thoughts.
Where do you want to start?
Child. Okay. Jorge, this was kind of an ugly episode at the start for Jorge. I was seeing a lot of things I did not like. Emphasis on the Aida dress. It was like, all right, sis, it's not about you. It's not on your time. Breaking the sewing machine with little remorse. I don't want to say no remorse. I'll cut him some slack, but little remorse. It just wasn't. The girls was cutting up, and it was ugly.
It was.
Period.
And yeah, going off of that, Jorge really made me mad this entire episode a little bit because it's like, man, it's not about you. And I kind of understood with Katy because it's like, this is the last thing she has of her mom. And then it broke. And then the whole time when they were singing, I'm like, girl, you need to start sewing.
Right.
You
Right.
need to sew. Like, I was so scared for her the whole time. But then Andrea dropped that bomb, and I knew it. Didn't I tell you?
You did.
I said it. I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like it's something fishy. I don't know, but it seems
Something
fishy.
fishy. That's so funny.
Okay,
Wow.
pepper is not the seasoning. It was
Right.
something else. Maybe some Old Bay or something.
Right.
But it was not that.
Yeah. I really love this. I really love this episode because it's kind of like you get into the nitty gritty of the friendship, and you know, friendships aren't always like perfect and like rainbows and butterflies, and you get into these things, and everyone has their own lives going on at the same time as they're trying to maintain those friendships, and sometimes it gets weird, and people like they inflict their own stuff on each other, and
sure.
like this was a big like it was a vortex outside, but it was a vortex inside
Right.
too.
Oh, that's a good
So,
scene.
and then little Miss Zandra, she was away making problems as always. But like, I think from here, there's a lot of really cool development that, you know, Josie can get from this situation, Alex can get from the situation, and clearly like Zandra, like,
Yes.
you know, so I'm really excited for you guys to see what this turns out to be.
Yes.
Everyone, yeah.
I love it. All right, so since we're talking about Josie, let's just jump right into her. So we see that she gets her check for her EP, and that's $20K right in her hands.
Right.
And apparently she's torn about cashing it. I talked about this last week. I said, girl, if you're cashing that check and you're getting that beautiful, fine, delicious man,
Right. Emphasis on all of those adjectives.
the answer...
We told you, this panel, you never know.
But the answer should have been yes, no question. She had a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts on it. So what were you guys' thoughts of what did you think about her going so much back and forth about cashing the check or acting on that EP? Girl, get your music.
Yeah.
Chain, getting paid over here. That's all I have to say.
Thursday.
Okay, Thursday. Getting paid over here. It was a little. I get where she was coming from because it's like, dang, you know, do I really want to like sell myself like that? But then at the same time, it's like a 2-for-1 deal. You get a man and the money,
And she likes him.
and she
She cares
him.
about him.
Right.
So you know she. Chain, getting paid over here. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, I respect the moral compass.
Yes.
Even though that didn't stop her. Day one after meeting Alex in the park, busting it wide open.
And then on the record.
In the record store.
Yes.
It wasn't even a week of employment. So, Josie, I think you need to pick and choose these battles.
Right.
All right? Like, girl.
Not a week of employment.
Camille, what do you think?
You know, I think, I respect the whole moral side of it, but at the same time, like, you're there to do your record and to, like, get a role on your show. And, like, I think being with Alex is something that inevitably was going to happen, and it's been, like, a fatal attraction from day one. So, like, from my perspective, girl, do what you got to do.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I would pretty much go about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree too. I called it. I said it. She needs to be doing it. She should have been doing it since last episode. She still hasn't done it.
Right.
We ended the episode with no check cash.
No.
So we're moving on.
Because after a while, they're gonna void the check.
Yeah.
That time's out.
After a while,
I think it's 90 days.
right?
90 days. You change your mind, you go back to Daddy Cat. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Like, you need to write me another check.
Absolutely.
I cannot keep it together. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of things that I love, let's move into Katy. We love her so much. It was such a heartfelt episode for her. She's applying to Parsons and she needs a letter of recommendation. And of course, Pepper kind of gives her a good insight that she has someone that can give her that letter of recommendation who's so credible right in front of her, which is Gloria. So I was just so torn about that too because I feel like she's trying to move away from that time she has with Gloria, but she's still kind of stuck in that rut with her. But I want to know what you guys feel about her doing all this work, but her friends are all up in her business singing show tunes. Like, literally, she needs to get her work done.
Yeah.
And why are they singing show tunes?
Yeah.
I think that kind of goes into your friendship and the board in what's that word? Boundaries. There we go.
Yeah, capital B.
Boundaries when it comes to your friendships, because I feel like sometimes I saw in the friendship a little bit of like, you know, it's more of the give, and then like take.
Yes.
Right.
And so it's like she always like helps out. First of all, Jorge needs to be happy that he's getting all this designer stuff, the KK collection, the Katy Keene collection for the free. And then you keep bothering her, and I feel like, you know, there's a time and place for everything, and I feel like everyone was not valuing or respecting Katy's time.
Yes.
So that kind of made me a little ticky.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important to like know that she's going through a lot right now, and like especially because the whole Parsons thing is tied to her mom, and clearly like a lot of the show is her, you know, in a way grieving her mom, but in a way trying to like really like come to terms and grapple with her mom being gone but still there.
Yeah.
So like I feel like her friends need to respect that space and that grieving and growing process a little more. So especially when it comes to like a big dream that her and her mom had together.
Yes. Eric, what did you think?
Yeah. I respect Katy's patience, but I also respected the blow up because I feel like that's how you have to establish what those boundaries are. And I feel like if she would have kept being, you know, Katy Keene, passive, they would have walked over her like a New York street.
No, not New York street.
Not Fifth Avenue, Essex. The apartment that her and Kale were supposed to be in, but she messed up that one.
Oh, Katy.
I feel like she kind of misses KO in a little bit in the back of her mind, like if he was there. I wonder how she would react and how she would be if KO was there to go through all of this with her.
Yes.
Yeah, she's still probably a little broken up over that.
Yeah. I do agree with that, though. I think that KO would definitely be a good, like, help her to cope with that, like a good coping mechanism. He always, like she mentioned, he always like knows what to say.
Yeah.
Yes, he's her rock, and literally I was like, no. And especially because he wasn't in this episode, I was just heartbroken.
Yeah.
But yes.
But she's establishing her independence, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she is growing from her breakup and growing from, you know, the tragedy that happened with her mom. So hopefully we'll see more growth and her friends just get off her back.
Yeah.
Right.
But speaking of our friends, let's just talk about Jorge. So, yeah, I know that's a lot to talk about. We don't got enough show for how problematic he was in this episode.
Yeah, Jorge.
I don't know. Like last week was a lot when he was like with Bernardo. It was just like, all right,
yes,
you look in the mirror and get yourself together. But this week it just was like, I don't know. It was kind of just like it has to be Jorge's time now, and I was just like, that's ugly.
it was. Yeah, it was like a continuing on the ugly train. Like last week, it was all about the self-doubt and insecurity, and now this week it's all about getting all up in everyone else's business and not, like you said, not knowing boundaries.
Right.
So it was just so hard. So, Eric, how terrible was it of Jorge to basically keep badgering Katy about this dress, and after all of that badgering, breaking her sewing machine?
I mean, it's not like he was just like, all right, girl, enough. But, I mean, like, closed mouths don't get fed. Katy has conditioned him to make it okay to ask for favors, you know?
Yeah.
Especially last minute.
Right. So, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it was like, I think my biggest issue was when he took his moment of vulnerability and was like, if you could do this one thing for me, it'll make it better. And I was just like, Jorge, stop playing with me. Like, this is real off-Broadway. Clean it up. Like, I was over it. I was so someone take it. I was over it.
Oh my God.
And even when she was in the bathtub, you know, she's trying to get her mood going.
Right.
She probably had her wine. You know when you have the wine with the bathtub.
Don't bother
I
me
love
with
that.
It's not the time. And I feel, you know, even when he said, like, I was sorry, like, I'm sorry. Like, it wasn't even like a real I'm sorry. Like, if you were really sorry, I need for you to throw yourself to the ground. I need you to be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, do something to show you that you're sorry. And I think like him giving his abuelita's sewing machine was like, okay.
A good gesture.
Yeah, like, show me you're sorry. Don't just tell me you're sorry.
Yeah.
Because
Because-
don't do anything.
Yeah, because he showed his draws when he did that.
Yeah.
I said, Jorge, like he didn't took, and then I think no. What got me, what set me to the moon, is when he literally gonna try to come at her and get all like, you know, big chested, saying you took my dress and you used it. Sweetheart, it's not yours. You didn't pay. You didn't go and get the fabric. You didn't pay for the thread. You didn't pay for this sewing machine.
Yes.
Right.
And it's just like, it's still hers. She's doing you a favor, and then you're gonna come at her?
Yes, I agree. When Katy said all that, when Katy said, I paid for the fabric. I made this dress on my own time. And he doesn't give her anything. And what sent me over the moon too was when they talked about how he lived with them for a while. Like she has been giving him so much in their life and in their relationship already.
Yeah.
And for him to still walk over her like that was like, he should be so ashamed of himself that she has given him so much and he took from her. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I would agree. I think this is like a really good defining moment for their relationship specifically, because there were no boundaries and like it was so much to the point where he like ruined something that was the most special to her, and he showed little remorse over it. Like that shows that there's a red flag in the relationship, you know, and it has to be squared away. You gotta like talk about it. You have to like set that boundary, and like I'm really proud of Katy for like speaking up and defending herself and clapping back and asserting herself so that it doesn't happen again.
Yes. For sure. I 100% agree with that.
Because I was going to also say a little bit that he shouldn't be opening other people's mail.
Oh, yeah.
That too.
Right.
How you going to open somebody's
too.
money?
That's a whole federal offense.
He's ready to call
after show.
Yeah. Okay. It's ridiculous.
You can't do that.
funny.
You can't. When he
That's
did
funny.
that, and then Josie's looking at him like, I know you did it. I know you did it. Just do that.
Take it to Riverdale.
Shut up.
Don't bring Riverdale into this.
No, that's hilarious.
He should not have done that.
And well, Bernardo was not in this episode, so he ain't getting him out of prison when he goes to prison for that federal
True.
offense. The FDNY don't have nothing with the...
No.
And
And
what
why
he
did
did.
he-
You
You
got
got
it.
it.
You got it.
You're there.
That's a lot of acronyms.
I was like, PDNY? Is that a thing?
True.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just move right along. There's only one person we haven't talked about yet, and that is Pepper.
Papa.
So,
Man.
let's just talk about So she was basically trying to tell everyone she didn't do this. She did not leak the story. She would never betray her girls like this. But, sister, episode 2, did you forget? You literally wrote the article about Katie's ring getting snatched out of her poor finger from poor KO.
Yeah.
And how are you going to go and tell Josie, oh, I would never do that to my girl, I am loyal, all this kind of stuff. So, Camille, tell me, how'd you feel about that? How did you feel about her making all that up?
Well, Pepper, it's really hard to tell with her. She's such a mystery, and, you know that she loves her friends and she has good intentions, but sometimes, like, in her actions, it's just like, what is going on? What are her intentions?
Right.
And you really never know. And you really just, like, someone you have to keep your eye on and never, like, let your back be like bare to her, because you never know like what she's going to be doing.
Exactly.
I do think she loves her friends, but like questionable actions. So
that is true.
Yeah.
And then at that point, do you consider her a friend? Because it's like every time, she would be the type of person I wouldn't tell my business around. Like I would have to be like, when you call your friends and you have to say like, okay, am I on speaker or
right?
Are you around?
You have to know you're on speaker, right?
No, and you gotta know like who you with? Are you by yourself? Is your mama around? Like you need to know everything.
Oh my gosh,
and that's the type like you
so
have to ask the introductory questions,
right?
Before you get into your business with her, because she'll go ahead and take it to everywhere. Next thing you know, you're on the New York Times, Washington Post, everywhere.
You told her in private and she took it public.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll even take it to the National Enquirer.
Yeah. I don't know. And I'm divided because Pepper was my girl. Like, I love a quick-witted, shady, like, I live for Pepper. Like, that uppity, not necessarily uppity, but her vibe was good. But it's kind of inconsistent. And I'm like, you want to keep up with the Joneses, and that's not authentic. And that's the only part of Pepper that's questionable, the authenticity. Because I'm like, I'm with everything. The goals, getting what you want by any means, but you lie about stuff that you really don't need to lie about, at least not with these girls. Like, you done seen Josie in bad spots, Katy in bad spots, Jorge. So it's like, why are you doing this?
For sure.
She just wants to keep up, with the Joneses. She wants to keep that whole lifestyle up as well too. But shout out to Josie for her accent switch, because she really did switch it up.
Right, she did. Yeah,
okay,
she did.
She was probably good. When you had to like your parents didn't sign the signature for the field trip, she was probly really good at doing that stuff too. Or the parents call home, they're like, may I speak to so-and-so?
Yeah, 1 second.
Right. She would definitely be on the phone.
Oh my gosh, I live. All right, so let's just jump more into that. We have the amazing Xandra right in front of us. So it was later confirmed that it was actually Tuxedo C. Sebastian who leaked it. It was apparently Xandra's cat. It's an alias that she made so that she could leak the article.
Siamese cat.
Yes, about her relationship with her delicious brother. So, what did you all think about that? What did you all think about Xandra being the culprit? I know you said you called it. You go.
At first, I thought it was Pepper. At first, I was like, you know what? Because you do some grimy stuff sometimes. I thought it was her. But then I said, wait. Zan could do some real twisted stuff. So I said, what better way to get back at Josie than to do that? Because, you throw yourself under the fire, but technically, if they don't know her cat, they would never know it was her.
Yes.
Right.
So I thought it was, it was kind of a good name.
Yeah. Eric, what'd you think?
You crafty.
Yeah.
You crafty. Because I didn't get it until Sanai kept tapping me like, I bet it's Xandra. And I'm like, but why? And I'm like, wait, this is a CW show. Like, there needs to be a plot twist. There needs to be something to keep people coming back. And I thought it was clever. I'm on to you. Like, that was kind of just how I felt. But now I just want to know why. Like, why are you like this?
Well.
Yeah.
A lot of reasons. But, Xandra really does love her brother. And it seems like it's a lot of rivalry and a lot of jealousy, which there is some of that too. And it comes from a lot of different places, like mostly from the parents and her never really being enough and her brother being the golden child and stuff.
Yes.
So, at this point, I think, Xandra is exploring that sense of self and that sense of like, how am I important? How am I fitting into my brother is trying to make this other girl star. And like, I've never been accepted or loved or praised or put on a pedestal. I've never been called undeniable by our dad. So like I feel like she's in a place of like self-conflict and like truly insecure right now. And this is she's a boss still. And she still handles her stuff. But like right now she's in a place where like, you know, if she has to mess some crap up to like get the thing that she wants, which is like her attention and like in a way, and I don't want to tell you too much about where this is going, but like you really do have to follow the next few episodes to see why. Because, like, you can't really just put a finger on why someone's villainous or why someone has that kind of agenda. You know what I mean? It's easy to say, oh, well, that person is just mean or that person is just a hater. But, like, honestly, there's a reason. And, like, the next few episodes will kind of show you. The next two, next week and the week after. Yeah. Nice. So, like, there's some explanation. And, you know, there's, you know, confrontations that are not as typical as ones before with Josie that, you know, kind of change things up between their dynamic.
Oh, now you got me feeling
right.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because that actually leads to one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So I know, like you mentioned, it's early in the season. We don't really know too much about each of the characters. But from what we've seen so far, who do you think is like the real villain of the show? Is it Xandra? Is it Amanda? Is it Gloria?
You know, the thing is, like, you really never know. And people's intentions throughout the whole series change for different reasons. And I wouldn't say, like, there's even a villain. I think that people have their own issues that somehow get wound up in whatever this world is. Yes. And it always has an effect on another person within the show. Because everyone's connected and everyone's agenda or intention benefits someone and then it is detrimental to someone else. So it's really hard to just say someone's a villain, but like throughout the season, you'll see different people come in and out that are like villainous to a certain extent or like heroic to a certain extent. And it'll really kind of surprise you, you know, who does have the better intentions and like whose intentions were kind of, you know, shady from the jump. So.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. That was our recap of the episode. Now we're going to do some fun stuff to get to know Camille a little bit more.
Let's
do it.
So Sanaa, take it away, girl.
Yeah, so we're going to do a 60-second with Camille game. So basically, I'm going to ask you a list of questions, and we're going to try to get through it within 60 seconds. Okay. So we're going to try.
All right.
Okay, I have faith in you. I think you could do it.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay. So you guys are going to watch the timer for me.
Okay.
Okay. Let me say when we go. Oh, go. Okay. So last person you texted.
My mom.
Favorite thing to eat at a barbecue?
Grilled corn.
Favorite fruit?
Mango.
Who was your last text to?
My mom.
Oh, wait. A song you know all the words to.
Moment for Life.
Must-have makeup item.
Lip gloss.
Hollywood crush.
Nick Jonas.
Favorite song to sing.
His mood. Favorite song to sing. Landslide by Dixie Chicks.
Ooh. Last time you talked to yourself.
Before I walked in here.
Favorite cartoon.
Cartoon. SpongeBob.
And,
me too.
Zodiac sign.
Scorpio.
Worst fashion trend.
That was 60 seconds.
Chokers.
Oh,
there we go. Okay. I'm not mad at that.
I love it.
I used to do it. Same here.
And I guess we'll do a bonus question. What's your favorite characteristic about yourself?
My favorite characteristic is I like.
She's humble.
Right.
Definitely humble.
My favorite characteristic is I don't like to talk about myself. I'd say I always want people to feel included. I do like.
Yeah.
I never like, you know. There is a time in life where I felt like I was always an outsider for whatever reason, and because of that, I always want people to feel included and accepted by me.
I love that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I have another another question for you.
Yes.
So how close in relation do you feel with Zan? Like, do you feel with your personal life?
You know, it's really, actually really, it's a special thing for me because I feel like where Xandra gets some of her worst qualities are things that I've struggled with in the past, and you know, not feeling like a sense of like self-empowerment or like that, you know, like your real purpose, and like knowing like that you have real friends. You know, she doesn't trust anyone, and you know, coming to a new city, coming to LA from DC, and like you not knowing who your real friends are and stuff like that can make you. And if I never found my real friends, if I never found myself, if I never found like real love between people, and you know, like all of the connections that I made with people out here, I could have easily been a villain like her, like coming for people, you know, because that's what builds villains, you know. And I feel like she is a really sweet girl deep down inside, and I feel like she has a lot of unseen talent and unseen brilliance that she's just waiting to bring out, and that's kind of what makes her that way. And I feel like anyone can turn into a not so nice person if they're not being seen for who they truly are and for the gifts that they can give the world. So in that respect, yeah, I can definitely see the different similarities that we have.
That's cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have a question as well. The show is Katy Keene. Now, if the show is Alexandra Cabot, how would the show differ? Like, what would this season look like?
So if it was Xandra Cabot, it would entail of a badass. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
Yeah. She is.
A badass entrepreneur, artist, intellect, guide, and like power source that is connecting the world through her talents and through her intellect and her ability to like bring out the fire in people. She likes to bring out the fire in people, and like, yeah, there are gonna be like times where people are trying her, and like times where she doesn't really know what her own boundaries are for like what she's willing to do for what she wants. But like, she's always gonna be faced with those like moral like ultimatums, and I think ultimately she's always gonna take the high road. In that show, I feel like she would be, she would just be, I want to say like a Khaleesi of like New York.
I love that.
Like a mother of dragons, but based in New York, and probably in something entertainment. And I think, she would just like own it, and it would be more about bringing out the fire and talents of people, and collaborating and having like amazing like bringing back 90s songs like Christina Aguilera, bringing back like
revamping that Dirty they did last week.
3LW, bringing back like Destiny's Child, and like Christina Milian, like bringing back the 90s, and like I would live to like make the 90s babies like stand up. Like, you know what I mean? So did we just pitch CW a show?
Yes,
right.
Because I'm digging it.
Are you listening?
Alexandra Cabot coming fall 2020.
Xandra Cabot.
We love it. Before I ask a question, anyone in the chat have any questions?
Let's see what's going on, because the girls was caught up on the whole sewing session. Nope, they're still recapping the show with each other. No individual questions.
I'm going to ask my quick question, and if you have any questions to throw into the chat, let us know. I just want to ask so I mentioned in the beginning that you were, of course, the first African-American Pink Power Ranger, which is so cool. I loved Power Rangers since I was a kid. I watched with my siblings all the time. How did you like that role? Like, was it interesting for you? What did you like about it?
I mean, it was a really fun experience living in New Zealand and filming. I learned what it was like to live and be around a lot of boys all the time. I was the only girl, you know, but it was super active. I got to see some really beautiful places, and like I cherished that year so much. It's a show that really centers on just togetherness and friendship, and a lot of the same things that are in Katy Keene, actually, and just being there for your friends, being a good person, and believing in yourself, and like all of those things that you really, really want to pass on to like younger generations, so they grow up watching this knowing, you know, I can do that. I should be a nice person. Always, you know, lead with your heart. It's all about heart, you know, and like that was so beautiful. And, you know, looking back, like you don't realize how many lives you can touch just by being in a show and a project that like it's always teaching young people to use their heart and in their mind. And that was a really beautiful thing.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that so much. The last thing I want to ask is just, is there anything you want to talk about with you? Like any upcoming projects?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on music now, and I'm singing.
Yay!
So, yeah.
We're going to have a little bop?
Yeah, so I just stay tuned on my music. I have a lot of really cool projects I'm working on. I'm really, really, really excited about it. I haven't focused on music for so long because I was doing, you know, show after show, and I just really wanted to give myself the time and the creative space to do something that was really impactful. So
that's
nice.
That's dope.
And
Yes.
the last thing to leave the viewers with something positive is, what would you say is the best advice you've ever been given?
Enjoy every moment. No matter what. I mean, I have a tattoo that says enjoy this, because like life is never always going to be easy. It's not something that you can expect. It's not something that you can control. And I just say enjoy this, like just purely whatever it is. If you get a flat tire and you're like, and it's raining, and there was a time in college where I literally got a flat tire and it was raining, and I started having a meltdown. I was crying. I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me. I don't know what to do. But like, imagine like you have two options in life. You can either cry about it and have a tantrum and get yourself down, or you can just smile and say, you know, whatever this is, the universe is just like, this is part of the process, and I'm gonna smile anyway because I'm still here.
Yeah.
So like I have one or two options: be positive about it, be negative about it. Just enjoy it. Your time here is so short. You know what I mean? Like just enjoy and that means like even if you're like going for your dreams and you're going through like the nitty gritty and the stuff that sucks and you don't want to do, you know that's gonna reach like. That's gonna push you to like where you're supposed to go. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the stuff. Enjoy the moments.
I love that.
That was
That just
beautiful.
made me feel. That just made me.
We are
feel
here
so
for it.
good
That was so good. Let me get another tattoo.
Right.
I
just read the whole scripture on my
Katy
day. Enjoy
with Camille matching tattoos. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to do something really fun too, because we didn't get a chance to do predictions, but I want to do something really, really fast. So we don't have too much time. So what I want you to do is shout out your socials, but also give a super quick prediction about what you think for next episode.
Yikes. Don't I gotta start?
Go.
You can catch me on Instagram at The World According to Eric, Facebook and Twitter at Eric Devante, and Snapchat Picasso3, as well as Cash App. And my predictions for next week. Xandra's about to turn the party.
Yes.
It's time to figure out why that article was published. Let's get into it.
Ooh. Okay. You can follow me on Instagram at _Sana. So that's SANA_. And you know, since we're throwing cash apps out, you can do mine at Sana M77. I think Gloria is actually going to wear the dress at some point.
I love it.
I think she's gonna do it. Oh, real quick. And I think that Gloria actually hired Katie's mom or something, or they're together, and that's why, you know, she has Katie so close to her, because she promised her mom that she would take care of Katie when she died. That's it.
Oh, that is it, girl. All right, Camille, what do you think?
Okay, so my handle on Instagram at Camille Hyde, my name, and Twitter at Mimi Hyde. And I think for the predictions, because I know nothing, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at some of the people that you might not want to like right now.
Oh,
Ooh, so we're gonna start to like them.
I don't know.
I cannot wait for that. All right, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at the Bryant Santos. My quick prediction is I think that Jorge's BS is gonna come crashing down on him, and he is gonna hit rock bottom, and he's gonna need Katy to pick him back up. So hopefully that happens, but he just needs to hit a wall to get it together because he has not been cute for the last 2 episodes.
Okay.
So that is it.
Okay.
We have anything else to ask Camille before we go?
Oh no, I got all my questions out.
I'll ask you about your skincare regimen after.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us for the Katy Keene After Show. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.